Okay, now today we'll go for invoice verification process. So far we have done all the procurement activities, right? But we have not done the invoice posting. So whatever the procurement you will do, ultimately we need to pay that money to the vendor, no? So that is we call it as invoice verification process, and here we are having different procedure. Under that, first one is GST invoice. GST, goods and service tax. So GST, goods and service tax, is a indirect tax levy on manufacture, sale and purchases of goods and services at national level. So GST is the indirect tax levy on manufacture, sale and purchase of goods and services at national level. So basically it is indirect taxes which comes under commercial tax department. Indirect taxes which comes under the commercial taxes, okay. And as you all know, it was introduced in July 2017. In July 2017 it was introduced to have one nation one tax concept, to have one nation one tax concept. Now coming to the types of GST, here we have central GST, that is CGST, state GST, SGST, and third one integrated GST, that is IGST, okay. So central tax, state tax and integrated tax. Now how we are going to apply this? If any goods and services done within the state, then CGST plus SGST we have to apply. So that is we call it as local sales and purchases. So if you are doing any goods and services within the state, within Karnataka, then CGST, SGST you have to apply. That is we call it as local sales and purchases, okay. And now done between the state, then IGST you have to apply. That is we call it as central sales and purchases. Central. So like if you do any goods and services between the state, that is Karnataka, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra, then IGST you have to apply. That is we call it as central sales and purchases. Now, for example, how you are going to calculate this? Say, for example, if you take within Karnataka, okay. So invoice base value is there. First, I will take the local tax. Base value is there around some 2 lakh. If we are applying the within Karnataka, then plus see, and one more thing, the tax structure we have, the tax structure is 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. We have 4 tier of tax structure, okay, in GST. And how you are going to apply this? For example, if the base value, if I take local, I will take example 18%. So CGST 9% you have to apply, and SGST 9% you have to apply. So 18,000. So 2,36,000 is the payable to vendor. Now if you take up the central one, central tax, same thing, base value, and here you have to apply IGST straight away. IGST 18%, 18 to the 36,000. So this is the total value, 2,36,000 is the payable. So when you are doing local tax, the 50% portion will go to state government and 50% will go to central. In IGST, 100% will go to the central government only. And so whenever you post an invoice, that invoice should come up with the journal entry properly. Okay. So for example, this is the purchases, right? This is the purchases. So whenever you create a, whenever you post an invoice with the GST, the entry you should verify. Like how it will come, no? Purchase account debit will be there. Input CGST 9% and input SGST 9%. It will come like this. So 2 lakh is the value, debit 18,000. So payable to vendor will come actually, okay na? So when you create a purchase order also, you have to take with the taxes. Now onwards, you have to apply the taxes here. Okay. So like this, the GST concept will come. Tax on goods and services. Now since I am MM consultant, so we have to calculate only on the purchases. So when we calculate GST on purchases, it is when we calculate GST on purchases, we call it as input tax. We call it as input tax because the reason is that you are taking goods inward from vendor Allah. So you have to receive the invoice and you have to pay to the government on behalf of vendor. It is input tax. And when we calculate GST on sales, it is output tax. It is output tax. Okay. Because we are doing billing to customer, it is outward. So they will pay on behalf of us. Okay na? Now Okay. Now we are MM consultant Allah, we have to do only on the purchases input tax. We are not concerned about output. So we need to do configurations for doing the purchases for GST, not the output tax. Okay. So this is the GST concept part. Because as a MM consultant nowadays we are going to create purchase order with taxes. Compulsory it will be there. So you should not depend on finance people. You should know how to calculate that as per the country procedure. You should know the taxes, what and all it is prevailed, and how you have to apply in the PO. That is very, very important. You should aware of that. Now here coming to the configurations here, normally there are three types of configurations: basic settings, calculation, and postings and all. But we have to do one by one. So here first one, you have to go to financial accounting there, and in financial accounting the first step is that you have to define the access sequence. So directly I can't able to define the GST procedure. There is a file in SAP, that is MWST. It is a GST file. From that I have to copy the parameter GST procedure. I have to copy to my company code. To my company code I have to copy. That is the first step. Like how you copied 4300 in enterprise structure. You may remember you copied to 4300 to all my parameter. No, same way MWST is a GST file. We have to copy the parameter to my company code GST. And second step is that you have to define the conditions. So here the condition I will take example, my company code is EXG1 and EXG2. So condition means you have to define how the system should calculate GST. How the system should calculate GST. So two conditions you have to define. One is for input tax, input CGST, input SGST. What is that? I am applying the taxes, and the taxes it should calculate on a percentage. Like that you have to give a condition. So obviously no, we will apply the GST on a percentage, right? So like this you have to give a command. I am applying the GST taxes and it should calculate on a percentage. So you have to define that. This is step number 2. Then step number 3, you have to define a calculation procedure. We call it as one formula table. One formula table. So how this formula table works? Say for example, this formula table, how it works, no? See, the base amount is there, of rupees 3 lakh. Now I have to apply the GST. So CGST 9%, SGST 9%, Okay, say for example, I am applying the taxes. No, say just take this as example line item 1, 2 and 3. So how you are going to calculate the GST equals, and this you will apply 9%. No, equals, and this will apply 9%, right? So what is the base you have taken for calculating GST? Line item 1 nalla, right? Now you are having invoice with you, vendor invoice is there, so just you have to verify how he has calculated GST. So on the net amount before tax, no, this is the base amount, and that we are going to calculate the percentage, it will come out, the outcome will come. So same way you have to define the procedure. See here, it's a formula table. See, that is a base amount, and base amount whatever the GST you should apply, it will calculate a line item 1. Like this you have to define a formula table. You have to define the formula table, okay, like this. So it will apply. And finally, whatever the formula table you have defined here, you should link to your country. Always taxation we will do at country level or client level, not as per company code level. Keep it in mind. Taxation always we will do as per country, client. Okay. So this is the basic settings. Then next one in calculation, you have to define a tax code. Why? Because so you are creating a purchase order. Assume you are creating one purchase order. So I can't able to do calculation like this. Automatically system will calculate the GST portion. So what I will do, I will create one tax code for input tax. Say like V1. In this V1 tax code, I am going to input the percentage 9%, so that whenever in the purchase order you enter base value plus V1 as a tax code, automatically system will calculate 27,000, your total PO value will be 3,54,000. Like that it will come output. Like same you did in pricing procedure, no? Same way. Their condition was there. Here we are going to define the tax code. Here we will define the tax codes. Okay. See by here like this. So I am going to give a tax code. In that I will maintain input CGST 9%, SGST 9%. So we have to use this code only. Whenever you create a purchase order with GST, you have to use this code. Automatically system will bifurcate the taxes through that calculation. Then in the last step, posting, you have to do account determination. First you have to link your GST taxes to company code. Last step, remember we have done account determination process no so far, BSX, BSY, and we have linked our company code to GL master. Valuation class we have linked to GL master, but here the account determination key for taxes is VST. For that VST, GL will be there. Instead of valuation class, you have to link the tax code whatever you have created. So that I want a separate line item for GST taxes. So I will show you how the output will come. So the last step you have to do the account determination process for GST taxes. So you have to link your tax code to the GL master. Okay, this is the steps part. Then finally, whatever the tax code you have created, you have to come to MM level and link your tax code to your invoice verification process. You have to link the taxes to invoice verification process, and finally post an invoice in Miro with GST. If the entry is coming perfectly, your configuration is correct. If error, you have to go back and check again. Okay. Now to come to SAP here. SPRO, IMG, and by here financial account. You have to take financial accounting. So normally we will not do in MM, it's in FI. Financial accounting, global settings, and here tax on sales and purchases, basic settings. So here check calculation procedure, double click on access sequence. So here there is a file, see, MWST. So this is the text file. So I told you, we have to copy, we should not, normally in FI we will copy, in FI we will copy, so don't copy here in MM thing, okay na. So directly I am going to use this MWST. In finance module we are going to copy this, okay. So what are all the fields will get copy, just I will show you. Select this, access, select again, and fields, see, condition, country, procedure and tax code. This will be copied to my company code. This will be copied to my company code. So I told you, in the beginning, we have to use we have to get the access sequence, MWST. So you have to use this MWST access sequence. Don't copy and don't do anything for this. Just keep it in mind. Now next one, double click on define conditions, new entry. So EXG1 input CGST, access sequence MWST, okay. So condition, see, control data, I am applying the taxes D, and it should calculate on a percentage A here, see, percentage, enter, save the data. Next one, EXG2 input SGST, again D and A, see, taxes and percentage, save the data. Now come back here. Next one, define the procedure, new entries. So you have to take 5 character, EXGST, GST procedure for company code, EXID. Select this, double click on control data, new entries. So line item 1, subcounters I am not applying, because subcounters, remember, we applied in pricing procedure. No, here it is 0, and condition type for base amount, there is a code, this one BASB, this you have to take for base amount. Then again counter 0, EXG1, it should calculate on line item 1 to 1, 3 0, EXG2, it should calculate on line item 1 to 1. And accounting key, the account determination key for taxes is VST, this you should link. VST, okay. Save the data. Then come back here. So this one you have to assign to your country. Assign country to calculation procedure, India. Here you have to replace, because this is online server, no, people will keep on replacing. So EXGST, save, come back, minimize the basic settings, come to calculation. Here define tax codes for sales and purchases. Country India, give any name, so like EX, input local, and the indicator for input tax is V, enter. See here, 9% you have to give. So I'll just save this because I require this tax condition. Okay. Save the data. Now come back here, minimize calculation and posting, define assign tax codes for non-taxable transaction. Somebody is locked. Company code and input tax is EX. Output tax are not defined, give it as A0 only. Enter and save the data. Come back. Now come to final step, define tax accounts. Now I told you account determination key for taxes is VST. Where it is? Here for VST input tax, double click. So my chart of account is INT1. So this is the GL number, just copy this and give it as EX, that's it. Tax code and GL number you have to link. Account determination. Enter and save the data. Just come back. Now this is the tax configuration. Now you have to come to materials management, logistics invoice verification, incoming invoice. Here maintain default values for tax codes. This one, maintain default values for tax codes. New entry EX ID and tax code is EX. Okay, like this you have to link. Save. Okay, na? Now we will do the testing whether it is working correctly or not. Come to logistics, invoice verification, document entry, MIRO Miro. Take today's date only. This is the screen. Enter incoming invoice. Amount leave it blank. Text is purchase invoice trading. Now I have to take the PO number Allah. So this is the PO reference tab. Go to drop down. Enter your vendor. So what is my vendor which you have created? So I will take 358. Execute. So take any vendor which is for raw material. Example standard PO 3 lakh is there, no? So I will take this PO 425. Tick mark and copy. Enter. See, now the system will read 3,300,000. Calculate tax. Total payable to vendor is 3,54,000. So the balance is 0. And simulate the document. See here, 3,27,000, 27,000. Yeah. See here. Example, make it here only 3 lakh. 27,000. So 3,54,000. See here, the entry should come like this. Okay. 9% it will take. 3,54,000. Back, any errors are there? No errors are there. And then post. Like this. Document was created. Okay. Now I will show you one report that open invoices. Even as a consultant, you can check whether invoices is paid or not. There is a T code called MB5S. So list of GRR balances, enter vendor 358 and execute pa. So these are all the total POs are there. So here I don't want service PO. Totally, so you can see GR value 7.5 is there, but invoice amount is only, it is not done. Okay, now I will do an entry. Okay, just observe how you will, 7.5 lakh is there Allah. So come to invoice verification 14.2, so leave it blank. So I will enter these two PO numbers 421 and 429. Check dropped. See here, total 2 lakh and 1 lakh 50. Calculate tax. So 4 lakh 13,000. Okay, 4 lakh 13,000 is the PO value, and simulate. So you can see here 31,500, 31,500 it is calculated and post. Now if you come back and again execute here, see it will go. So we'll get to know the invoice is posted. Okay, like this we'll get to know. Even another T code is there, how to check it out. Once I complete this invoice verification, I will tell you. Okay pa? So this is the invoice will go off. See, so like this we are going to track the list of GRR, it is done or not. Okay, so this is how we are going to do the invoice verification. Now we have done the GST law. Going forward, we need to, whatever the configuration we do, whatever the procedure we do, we need to link GST procedure compulsory, because they made it mandatory now, because without GST we can't be able to do any purchase order. So they made it mandatory in the PO level or in the as a process, company standard process. We need to link this GST code in every levels. Okay, so the next concept will be invoice verification with automatic settlements and all, that I will take up on Monday. Okay, so tomorrow day after you practice. Any doubts there, you let me know.